Thank you for that introduction. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. I've been listening to the speakers who went before me, and I've learned a lot. Also, real pleasure to listen to Tan. We haven't met in a while, but good to see you today. I'm going to be talking about new skills for the new world. And we definitely do find ourselves in a new world, everything that's happened over the last 5 months or so. And these changes, these massive changes that we are undergoing needs new skills. So what I thought we could cover is from a Coursera perspective, how the skills landscape is changing and what's currently relevant, how companies might want to think about building effective skills transformation strategies, and then how do these skill transformation strategies, how do you measure the impact of these learning programs? So with that, let's jump in. And I'd love to start by sharing a slightly wider context on this. It would be an understatement to say the world is undergoing massive change. Many organizations are talking about how millions of people around the world are facing big transition in their jobs, in their skills. The World Economic Forum has been talking about it, also organizations like Deloitte and Accenture. And some of the data that we all see on the left is telling. 42% of jobs are expected to have an entirely different skill set by 2022. The average shelf life of a skill, especially a technical skill, per Deloitte is now at about 2 years. And interestingly, Accenture tells us that only 10% of companies claim to realize the full value of their technology investments. Now, that's a startling fact, given that many companies are undergoing digital transformation. As a part of that, they are investing in new technology platforms, but only 1 in 10 of them seem to be seeing full value of that investment. The other thing that we're seeing as a result of COVID-19 is the acceleration of the need for digital skills. And this is a recent McKinsey study which talks about how companies are significantly reallocating digital talent amongst business units, up 26 times. Companies are dedicating time to learn about digital technologies amongst their employees, significant increase here as well. And then finally, companies are analyzing customer and business needs data. And across these three broad trends, what we are seeing is a significant need for digital and data related skills, which is kind of obvious as well, but maybe the quantum of the changes are not that well appreciated. Now, with some of this as context, let me quickly introduce Coursera and how we are approaching this challenge around skills transformation. Coursera is the world's largest higher education platform. And we think of ourselves as a platform with 3 pillars. The first is the learner. They come to Coursera to learn, but also importantly, to prosper. There are upwards of 65 million of these learners on our platform, of which about 8 million in India. What learners are learning comes from 200 educators, leading universities and companies who author content on the Coursera platform. And also the third pillar, which we will focus on today, is employers. And 2,500 institutions or employers are working with Coursera to transform talent for the future of work. And what they are taking to their employees, to their stakeholders, are almost 40,000 skills that are taught on the Coursera platform. Last week, we released the second edition of Coursera's Global Skill Index report. And what we do now, second year in a running, is use the data and the insights from trends and what about 60 million people are learning on the Coursera platform. We look at this across countries. So we've looked at 60 countries. We've looked at different industries, close to 10 industries. And then we've looked at 11 areas of skilling in the broader domains of business, technology, and data science. We've also identified certain areas where we think a lot of the skills of the future will be built. And the report shares some of those. A copy is, of course, available on our website, but I'll share some of the highlights today, as well as from an India perspective. I think one of the most telling insights that the report uncovers is this. And let me kind of say this aloud. Industries with most skilled talent, especially in technology skills, see higher stock returns and lesser disruption from COVID-19. And that's a pretty straightforward, but also a fairly significant statement to be making. What you see on the chart is industry stock performance on the y-axis, which of course is public data. But what is not public data is the average skill proficiency of a business across topics like business, technology, and data science. And this is where the Coursera data has come in, and we've plotted these and the correlation is what we see going upwards. For all HR leaders, for all L&D leaders, I think this is a strong data point, a strong chart to be able to go to their CXOs, the CEO and CFO, and be able to make a case for how learning makes direct impact on the value a company might be creating. The other thing that we find, and the report is available from different regions of the world, but if we look at Asia specifically, this is of course now in 2020 going to be the largest global economy. The GDP of the Asia Pacific region will be the largest in the world. And from a skills perspective, the skills divide is apparent. There are certain countries like New Zealand, like Singapore, like Australia, which are on the cutting edge of skills compared to the rest of the world. But many countries are lagging behind. They are either in the emerging bucket, which means they are in the third quartile of skills, or they might even possibly be in the lagging category of skills. Now, if you look at the three kind of the broad call outs on this particular slide, we find that tech and data science are key to regional employability because work is increasingly getting automated. And in countries like Thailand, we find that the skill levels are closer to emerging or lagging, so the lower levels of the quartile. And Thailand is also, as per various studies, likely to see upwards of 50% of the tasks in its labor force get automated. And this applies to a number of other countries as well. The other alarming insight, or the not so great insight that we find, is that developing countries rank amongst the lowest globally. And so there seems to be a strong correlation in the development level of a country and the skill levels that its citizens have. And so investing in development of skills at a country-wide level by governments, by businesses, by universities, seems to be a country-level initiative that all of us should be thinking about. And then from an India perspective, we find that India is emerging, of course, as a global talent hub for tech, and education is a government priority. Compared to China, India leads in terms of skills related to business and data science, but leads in the areas of business and technology, but lags in the area of data science. And this is possibly because of China's big focus on artificial intelligence and a lot of the investments that are being put in that domain. Let's jump into a little bit more specifics around India. And unfortunately, the news is not that great. India still ranks in lower quartiles when it is compared to the rest of the world. Many of these rankings have improved compared to the Global Skills Index that we released last year. But we find in business, India is at number 34 out of a total of 60 countries. And in computer science at number 40. So in what we would call the third quartile, which we call emerging, but in the last quartile when it comes to data science. So that's definitely an area where we need to invest more. But overall, there is clearly a need for further investments, both in higher education, but also corporate skilling programs in the country. Now, given some of that context, let me share from the 2,500 companies that Coursera serves, what are certain effective skill transformation strategies. We've built a platform, Coursera for Business, where the ability to bring skill development for business transformation is coming together. And this initiative comprises of 4 broad elements. The first, of course, is content. So bringing content from top educators like the world's top universities or companies like Google and IBM. That's the first key element here. Second is job-based skills. Companies just don't have the time to figure out what are the skills of the future. How do you set up learning programs for that? And so we've been hard at work to launch the ability for companies to provide transformational learning using our academies. There are various academies that Coursera has launched, and also very recently skill sets. These are job-based learning programs with insights from many millions of learners on our platform. The third is hands-on learning, and about 2 months ago we launched something called guided projects. These are hands-on learning tools where almost any software can be learned by a learner, and I'll talk a little bit about this in a little bit more detail. But we want to go back to the Accenture study, which talks about only 10% of companies claim to realize full value of their technology investments. And this kind of helps answer that challenge. And then fourthly, measurement of what's happening, is extremely important. It's been a little bit of a fuzzy kind of a domain to say, yes, people are learning, but what is the skill that they're building has not always been feasible for learning leaders to measure. And we're hoping that we can enable that quite efficiently. Let's jump into a little bit of this. So firstly, like I said, content is the starting point. It comes on Coursera from leading universities, Yale and Duke, for example, and also leading companies, Google and IBM as examples. And the other thing that we find is being able to work with 2,500 organizations on various use cases like digital transformation, helping Industry 4.0 preparedness, data science and AI, leadership, and so on and so forth, gives us a very good point of view on what are the essential skills for the future, not only at a broad level, but by role, by business function, and by industry. And so what Coursera has been doing is, let's say going to a technology company and saying, your engineering team and your product team already have certain skills, but from a future skills standpoint, these are the skills that product managers should be building when it comes to business, tech, and data science. And tech and data science might be obvious, but sometimes business skills for a product manager around agile, around product management, around disruptive innovation may not be that fully understood. And similarly, a banking company, a financial services company may say to its finance team or to its marketing team, what are the kind of skills that they should be building. And again, business and skills for marketing managers may still be well understood. So digital marketing, social media, and so on. But marketing folks need increasingly to understand big data. They need to understand analytics. They need to understand SQL. So this is what we would call an essential skills map around the future of skills. And then guided projects. Like I said, the intent is that if software learning can be made a lot more seamless, a lot more guided, then this is what this provides. What you're seeing here is a virtual machine. The right side is an instructor screen. The left is a learner screen. And this learner is learning a project on Tableau, which is one of the key tools for the field of data science. And the instructor has recorded a 1.5, 2 hour project. The learner does not need to buy software, does not need to install it on their machine, does not need to look for data sets to be able to execute this project on Tableau, and does not need to have a machine with the computational capability to manage that data set. And the learner is able to come on and learn this project. And what we find companies seeing value in is, for example, at Coursera, if we use Salesforce, not just learning Salesforce is valuable, but learning how Coursera uses Salesforce is valuable. And so companies are using guided projects and also using some of the existing guided projects that are available on the Coursera platform, but they are also authoring their own guided projects and enabling use cases like a new Coursera employee learning how Coursera uses Salesforce as opposed to generic knowledge of Salesforce. And so those are some examples of, like I said, skills transformation strategies. Let me go into the last section on how to measure impact here. Now, the L&D world has always had classic metrics to track engagement. Companies measure learning hours, they might measure assessments that people are taking on their platforms. They also measure how many courses were taken, completion rates, and so on and so forth. And these are classic metrics. We find many companies who are a little bit more early stage in their L&D programs use only these metrics. We are increasingly finding that advanced metrics are the more powerful ones that a lot of more mature L&D organizations have started to use. These are around proficiency by skill, measuring mastery of skill over time, and then finally benchmarking outside your organization. So what you'll see here on proficiency by skill is many skills across the domains of business, technology, and data science. The first one here is data analytics. And what we are able to do is, depending on the kind of course an individual is taking and how they perform in assessments on that course, we've been able to tag our courses to the levels of conversant, beginner, intermediate, and advanced. So if I, as a learner at Coursera, go and take a data analytics course, and I take an early stage course and I perform not so great on the assessments, I will probably be a conversant learner when it comes to taking that particular course. And if we extrapolate it to 10 or 20,000 employees in an organization who are taking all of these courses, the HR leaders, the L&D leaders are able to track how, at a given point in time, they're able to measure proficiency by skill of their employees. And in a financial term, this is like a balance sheet. This is a view of your skills inventory today as at a given point in time. The skills mastery over time is a little bit more like a P&L. So this is over 12 months or over a specific period of time. And you can look at, again, the same skills and see in data analytics, your organization was here. And then gradually, as learners invested time in learning, this is how that grew. And in a conversation with the leadership of the organization, these are powerful tools to be taking back and saying, we started at 40% and now our organization has moved to 60, 70, 80% in a skill level. And then lastly, industry benchmarks, right? Instead of just being siloed within what's happening within your company, the ability to measure and benchmark in a very tangible manner with your peers, with your competitors, and say, how do you stack up if you're a financial services company with other FS companies in India, but also in the world at large? If you're an IT services company in India and customers for your company are in the US or in Europe, then to be able to benchmark with peers and competitors around the world becomes extremely critical. This dashboard enables that. And then lastly, the other thing that we did very recently was we enabled many learning and HR leaders to start measuring the return on learning of their learning programs. Again, this has been something which has been quite fuzzy in the past, but now we're able to actually measure this in a very tangible measure. And we worked with IDC, this independent research organization, who interviewed many, many Coursera customers and came out with this insight, again, which is available on our website if somebody would like to download that. Now, organizations told us that because of the learning programs, along the nature of what I've described, the ability to deliver on business goals by building critical skills went up. Second, because of guided projects, the ability to realize the fuller value of technology investments has also gone up because employees are no longer scared of those new technology platforms, but are able to embrace them in a much more meaningful manner. Third, and I'm sure many people would identify with this, younger people value learning and development at the workplace. And because of the quality of this learning that companies are delivering, improving employee retention and engagement has gone up quite significantly. And you'll see some data points on the right from the IDC report. And lastly, because companies are able to reduce talent acquisition costs, because they're able to mobilize employees internally, even internally at Coursera. I have a colleague who used to be on our strategy team as a business analyst, and then he took a number of Coursera courses, and now he's a junior data scientist on our data science team. And so reducing talent acquisition costs because of developing those skills, which are hard to find internally, is the kind of benefit that companies have seen. The IDC research tells us that just purely from a number standpoint, numerator divided by denominator, so the benefit accrued divided by the investment made, companies see upwards of a 7x return on investment on 2 to 3 year programs. And hopefully this can be good guidance for companies as they think about how to navigate the skills challenge in this new world that all of us are facing. Thank you.